This podcast is a member of the Place to Be Nation family. Visit us at placetobenation.com, the only place to be in your pop culture world.
You are listening to Lucha Afterground.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Lucha Afterground, the premier Lucha Underground after show. My name is Max. With me, as always,
is Travis, and we are definitely the flagship Place to Be Nation Lucha Underground show, as in we are the only people talking about it on the Place to Be Nation now officially, unless it's in passing.
What do you mean?
Well, This Week in Wrestling, I haven't listened to it yet, Indian International, but I read in the episode description that Pete and Timothy are dropping Lucha Underground from the rotation.
Really?
I'm not sure of the reasons yet, but this is something we've noticed is a trend. Is that safe to say? Just in terms of like wrestling pundits and
you've certainly mentioned it, but I don't comb the internet in the same way that you do. I can't, it's weird because we've been looking at the viewership numbers. Dropping week by week.
They did go up this week, though. Hey, do you see that? Our boy Crystal Fish.
I know.
Good job of posting about that. Him and Lucha Blog seem to be the ones who are really kind of carrying that, bulletin.
Totally. Good. But the week before, like one of the best episodes ever, had the lowest numbers over the past two seasons.
Yeah.
And so, and that's coinciding. It seems like it's coinciding with a lot less coverage online as well. So I don't know what the catalyst is for this.
I think it's because they're now and people have to watch so much wrestling, and they're looking for so much wrestling and hearing about these shows and knowing, okay, well, I won't have time to watch this entire show, but I'll have to seek out at least a couple matches from it. And with Lucha Underground, you have to watch the whole show. You have to. That's a properly.
But it's only it's not even a full hour once a week. I mean, it's absolutely digestible.
Yeah. But I know for whatever reason, I just think a lot of people are putting it further and further on the back burner. Like the Observer. Remember, there was I guess it was last week. He just didn't do any write up about it at all, just because there wasn't room. He said. So the fact that says something too. But anyways, I'm not going to bury Pete and Timothy. They're busy guys. They watch way more wrestling than we do. But now we're going to carry the torch. But here's what I wanted to start off with my news and notes, or I just want to explain my admiration for Lucha Underground and why I'm stuck with it. I'm not going to be retreading in the ground here. Number one is the ambition of concept, and I think that's what makes them unique from anything before and anything right now. So because of this, because of an attachment to this concept from the roster, there's a different sense of in-work and in-ring camaraderie from the wrestlers. And I like that a lot. I find that really unique as well.
Sure.
But I do think the concept has kind of run its course for a lot of what would be these kind of hardcore wrestling fans when they're just wanting to find wrestling, right? So I think, here's my hot take. I know we are soundboard free today because we're in separate locations. But I think their only hope now to build a big audience is to get non-wrestling fans
on board,
start to get into the they need a storyline that's almost needs to go viral or something. Wouldn't it have been good? How could not when you think of all the stupid shit we see of cat videos and Pizza Rat or whatever that gets 1 million views. The nunchuck battle from last year is something that could easily be a huge thing, right?
I know. Yeah. It needs to be when what the hell, Gangnam Style went bananas. I don't think you can achieve that. You're not going to have that level. But it was just that thing. It was it came completely out of left field. It was so strange, and it was so hard to interpret for a layman. They just need something like that. Not
for those of you not adverse in Dragon and Nunchuck lore as we are, and Cosmos,
or as wrestling lore, right? And that's the thing. It's like, hey, you probably haven't even given two thoughts about wrestling since you were a little kid. Well, here's what's going on, and just show like a scene, and it's just got to be like so bizarre that it's intriguing. I mean, that's kind of what I was, last season when I gathered a bunch of people and we recorded basically, a focus group of non-wrestling fans to watch Aztec Warfare 2. I mean, that was in a sense kind of what I was going for with that, but I don't know. It didn't quite work.
Yeah. Anyways, but I want to say on top of that, like, I still like, we are so on board, and we're not just saying that just because we watch it, because we find these storylines compelling, and we like that. I apologize if I'm speaking for both of you, but I think, or both of us, but I think I think we're on the same page here, that we are intrigued by these characters, and we don't. Maybe guys are like getting pissed off that they're adding more goofy characters and stuff, but for us, I like it, the more goofy the better, right?
Oh, I think so, 100%. Hey, you know me, I love. Like, I wouldn't even describe this as goofy. I mean, I would describe it as campy or something like that. Sure. But I'm on board with, the less, I love comedy wrestling, man. I want a whole show that's just comedy wrestling. That's what I want. It's hard to find, but so I'm willing. I'm on board.
If I hadn't, and I want to make a point, if I haven't said it before, thanks for getting this idea together, man. I'm really happy that now where we've gone with it and where we're going to go with it.
Oh, you mean the podcast?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Okay, cool.
Because now, this like I said, the promotion's in a really interesting place right now, and it's kind of a weird place in a state of uncertainty, just like Trump's America, bro. But
dude, we're witnessing the birth of a cult legend, and it just hasn't achieved the status yet.
I think so too.
And the sad thing is, it's like an artist who dies. As soon as that person passes away, all of their stuff is going to become more valuable.
It's Nick Drake, or no, what's his Nick? Nick Drake, right?
Or who's Jeff Buckley?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Anyways, you got anything else? That was what I wanted to.
No. That's pretty much it. I got some interesting Twitter activity from PJ Black, but I'll get to that when we get to his match with Sexy Star.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Lucha Underground, Season 3, Episode 14. What was the title?
Oh, it was the Battle of the Bulls, I think.
Yes.
The Bulls of Boyle Heights.
The Bulls of Boyle Heights. Pretty good. That sounds like an episode of Lucha City Nights.
That's right.
So, recap. Worldwide Underground and then Helico, Johnny Mundo and his championship. Tejano and Cage, they remind us of the best of 5. But there was a little kind of wonkiness to that. We'll get to it later. And then Mac and Sexy Star. First segment, Dario Cueto's office, and then Angelico comes in. That South African accent hurts. I mean, I'm indifferent to but it doesn't do favors for him being this kind of gritty.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't sound threatening.
No.
It's
and part of that's just his acting ability too.
Yeah. You wonder if they are even trying to coach him. You know, is he just so? I'm not taking anything away from the guy. Is an incredible actor, but an incredible wrestler. He's an incredible wrestler. But you do get the sense that like they didn't even try. When it came to like getting him to maybe get into the actor's sort of mindset for a moment.
Sure.
Which is a shame.
Yeah. Oh well. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. I mean, we are happy to just see him around again.
Yeah, it's true. But it's funny because he comes out and he's like, "Oh, I want a championship match with Johnny Mundo." Yeah. And it's like, have you earned that? Yeah. I don't know if you have earned it. You're certainly part of the storyline, etc. But
as far as everybody at the temple knows, you've just been off, cooling your heels.
Yeah,
literally
exactly.
Having to cool that one bad heel.
Although it isn't Dario's nature just... oh, God. Pardon me.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah. It isn't Dario's nature just to book matches for the sake of, like, competition and violence, right? So maybe you could make a case there. Did you notice that Dario referred to himself in the third person in this?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, he's like... he's like, oh, I want Johnny Mundo. And then Dario's like, oh, well, his lawyer is a real shark. I can't get whatever. And he's like, oh, yeah, well, maybe I should get a lawyer. And maybe I should sue you for all the damage I've incurred. Yeah, he's like, hey, you know what happens when you come into this temple. This is not Dario Cueto's fault.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
I would love for that to be a thing going forward.
Yeah, no, he said, maybe I'll lawyer up too.
Oh, God, yeah.
And they said, put the foot of the angels through your desk.
Yeah.
I can't really do a South African accent.
The whole thing was so strange. This is a new aggressive side of the Angelico character that I just don't know. It's
I know.
It's tough.
He had a lame line on the way out. But anyways, he was entered in a Battle of the Bulls match next week. And Dario, did you notice that one quick little throw again? Stupid.
Yes.
That was pretty good. So we enter the temple, and our favorite band is playing a song called "This Is Awesome." I think they played it. That just shows you these guys. I decided I need to remind myself to message to Joseph with how much we love these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And also that they should get a nameplate every episode. Again, no nameplate for them. What the heck?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But I think they did. Vampiro did give them a shout out, like I said their name in full.
Yeah, I don't know, but for the non-Spanish speaking community, it just sounds like I don't even know what it translates to.
Yeah,
the name.
I thought he was asking for directions.
Like, what is the name? Without looking at your notes, Travis, what is the name of that band?
El Nuevo Quieto Converto.
No, you're just are those words.
I was just guessing. I knew it was for, and I know Nuevo's in there for sure.
Okay. Yeah, so they just deserve a little bit more respect, I think.
I agree because they are the best. And that leads us to our newest episode of.
Oh, here we go, Man in the Wedge. Oh, it's hard to do when we're both not in the same.
I know.
Should we try that again? Okay, let's count down. Okay, we'll go like 3, 2, 1, and then boom, then go into it. Are you ready? Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Man
in the Wedge. I gotta get that wedge. Better.
Not much. Sound better on my end. Anyways, I've decided I'm gonna just sing it out. White leather in a little boy's smile. White leather in the sore southern sky. White leather in between striker and vamp. White leather. Lucha Camp. I don't know. I really, that was off the top of my head. I only had white leather written down.
It was brave.
Yeah, I know.
That was brave.
I'm not afraid to fail. Hey, man, I just booked a beer commercial. I'm flying high. Or at least I have faith in my abilities at this point.
Oh, good. I think I would never have described you as somebody who didn't have faith in their abilities. So I'm glad you found this newfound confidence.
I think we'll probably see her next week. This is night 1 of 2 tapings. Okay.
Sure. Okay. Somebody who's wearing white leather. I don't know. I didn't even.
It was a lady in white leather. She had kind of frill. Kind of looked like Alana Miles, but white leather.
Alana Miles. Canadian recording artist Alana Miles.
Yeah. What do you think is her second biggest hit?
Alana Miles?
Yeah.
Did she do Let It Rain?
Maybe, but I don't think that was her second biggest hit.
Okay.
It was Love Is. Remember that song? Love is what you want it to be.
No.
Love is. Well, it's good. No, when you hear the guy, I think I was out of tune. Anyways. Before we move on, did you notice Vampiro's shirt was blurred out?
No, I didn't notice that.
I was trying to guess what might have been on it.
Wow. Probably something about Krav Maga?
Yes.
His Krav Maga studio?
Or the kind of Guardian Angels type thing that he's...
but they've let him wear that before.
Yeah, but who knows? Maybe it had something a little more controversial.
Weird. What a weird thing.
I thought that was weird too. So that brings us to our first match. 4-way. Cage versus Tejano versus Joey Ryan versus Dr. Wagner Jr.
What did you think about Tejano and Cage both being in this match, considering that they're embroiled in this best of 5 or best of 7? It's best of 7?
5.
Best of 5.
Best of 5. It's confusing. It makes me think. I had commented, I'd written back, or replied to a tweet that Lady J had about it. How I think that they had to rearrange some storylines here. Don't you think? Oh,
you think so?
Like, this wasn't supposed to, we have to have this happen, but we're still kind of in the middle of this, so we're you know what I mean? Like it seems weird. Like it's a weird thing to do.
Yeah, I felt like it just sort of dilutes their ongoing like best out of 5. Because now you've added this extra match in there.
I mean, it did, like, the match started off with like them just like a face off of each other to remind us of it, and Matt Stryker and Vampiro are reminding us of it.
Yeah,
or that's 2-1 or whatever. But I do think that's just because they've had to kind of move it to the on over to the shelf for a second while they forward this Battle of the Bulls storyline.
But even then, it's like I don't understand why you need to have Cage win this.
Yeah.
I guess could you not have unless Cage is going to win the Battle of the Bulls?
I think it's possible, and then he's the god. He does Battle of the Bulls and the god, at the same time. The more I think about it, the more I think he'd be the better choice just because of his luck.
He is inhumanly large. Like he does not look like a normal person.
No.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I would have liked to have seen like Tejano and Cage, just their mere presence in this for me, and we don't know where everything is going, of course, but I felt like it was a mistake. I think you could have had some other people in there instead. I wouldn't have minded, unless Cage is going to win this whole thing, then if Cage wins this whole thing, then sure, that's fine. But if he doesn't, and he's not in this to serve some sort of purpose in the next round, then I would have to have argued for Dr. Wagner to have won this.
Yeah.
Because he's not doing anything right now. Like the whole Masquerita Sagrada stuff is over.
I know. Yeah, and I know we don't know anything about it, but the people who do know stuff about Dr. Wagner Jr. are really upset that he's been misused.
He looks, I don't know how old this guy is, but I'm assuming he is quite old.
Yeah, he's an older guy,
and
but
he
not
moves fantastic.
He does. Yeah, he just looks like such a pro. Like,
yeah,
I think
you think about the moves he's pulling off, and compared to some of these older guys who are wrestling in WWE who just don't look as fluid or as capable in the ring. And then here's this guy who's just like, it's just like he looks like a guy who's wrestled every day of his life since he was like 16 years old.
Yeah, for sure. He was born with that mask on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. I think
that must be so weird to be.
I think we're learning about him, even though we've tried to be vocally ignorant. We're learning about how great he is just by watching him work and seeing, like, you can tell that this guy is an all-time pro, right?
Yeah. So is he wrestling for AAA then?
Or I think he's been everywhere. Do you want, like, it's a Google search away?
I'm doing it. I'm looking it up. Good. I want to know who is his home promotion.
Yeah. Okay. Let me. I'll kind of whip through this map. The match. Then. I thought Tejano looked awesome in this match. I know that you don't like him as much as I do, but I thought he might have shined the most in it. But everybody looked good.
Yeah, actually, I do think you're right. I think he did. I thought this was a great performance from everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this was really good.
Yeah, and it followed a logical thing where everybody would kind of get their shines in at different points, and everyone got a chance to shine. What did Joey Ryan had that was that great catch. Who caught Joey Ryan? Cage caught Joey Ryan like perfectly to counter off the top rope into a suplex of some sort. Joey Ryan, there were chants from the crowd, built to a nice Tower of Doom spot. Holy shit chant. This is a great opener.
Yeah, yeah. I thought the whole thing, this is by far Joey Ryan's best performance. There were Joey Ryan chants during this.
I know. It was good to see him work, work a good match, because you forget about it sometimes with all the gifts and shenanigans you see of him all the time, right?
Yeah, no kidding.
Builds to a nice exchange of moves from all men. Cage grabs Tejano's rope, which was used earlier, which I liked a lot, of course. I like that Stryker called it the sandpaper snake.
Yeah.
Which really makes it, I can imagine getting whipped with that. Like a sandpaper snake.
I love the rope whipping. They're doing it in a way, it looks super painful, but I'm sure that I'm not saying it doesn't hurt, but if you look closely, you can see you can make out how the physics work of that spot, and it just seems like it's a powerful device. that probably doesn't hurt as much as it looks like for the performer, but it looks so brutal just as an observer. So anytime the snake should be doing that every match that Tejano's in, at least once.
I like it, yeah, for sure. Cage steals the win, so he advanced. I went 3 1/4 on this. Good hard work from everyone, and it, for the fact that it does kind of confuse the storyline, it did still kind of advance them because he stole the pin from him, so maybe he's going to have a little more anger next time.
Sure. And I do love it when things are unpredictable. That's sort of like one of the keys to enjoy wrestling for me is the unpredictable nature, and to have. Like when this thing started, I was like, oh man, I can't believe these two guys are in this together. Like I can see, okay, you're going to have this massive tournament. You need 12 people total. Or you need more. You need 16 people total. Yeah. You're going to end up with these guys in there. But the fact that they were both in this one, I was like, okay, well, it's going to be Dr. Wagner. I couldn't see Joey Ryan winning it just because, he's not, just hasn't been pushed in that way. But then the fact that, and then when it did turn out to be Cage the one, I was like, okay, well, that's unpredictable. That's one check mark for me. But ultimately, it just muddles things for me a little bit too much.
I got you.
Yeah.
So next segment, back in Dario's office. This time, a sexy star.
What
Dario,
did you think of this performance? I flipped back and forth about this scene. The first time I watched it, I was like, "What was that?" And then when I watched it again earlier today, I actually came around on it almost a full 180. So I'm really curious to hear what you have to say.
I think the answer is somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Again, it's Spanish and English, right?
Yeah, but I never even noticed until you mentioned it. That little kiss thing she does at the end there. Yeah, that reminded me very much of like Sierra Miedo. Like it's
kind of right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It moved things forward. It set up this match, and she gets a title match in a steel cage. I don't know. She's like Rainbow Bright cartoony mixed in with this kind of, I don't know, what kind of cartoon would you compare Dario Cueto's aesthetic and character to? Like the
Batman animated series.
I was just gonna say that, like the mob thing. So it's not always a match made in heaven. Mm-hmm. I guess maybe that's part of it. Yeah, like
I liked her confidence. I liked her stone-faced confidence when he was like, "These are the stakes. If you don't win, you'll never get a title shot again." And she was like, "No problem." Like, didn't even care. Just right off her back. I was like,
"That too. That's cool." Like that. There are times, I love the idea of sexy star. The idea of just this kind of positivity, kind of whatever. It doesn't always. The execution isn't always perfect. But you can say that about a lot of the stuff we talk about, right, bud?
No kidding.
So that sets up her match. But next, we go back to Cortez's office.
Oh, you know what? This might be a good time to take a break.
Sure, because that'll
bring us back to the police station.
I like it.
Okay, cool. So we'll take a break right here. Here's a word from Place to Be Nation.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Voice of Ring of Honor's Kevin Kelly here. I just want to make sure you're all subscribed to all of our great feeds here at Place to Be Nation. Now, it's really easy to do. Just head to iTunes or your preferred podcatcher app today and search for and subscribe to the Place to Be Nation wrestling feed, Place to Be Nation pop feed, Pro Wrestling Only feed, and of course, the Kevin Kelly Show feed, which includes the full archives of my podcast. Subscribe, listen, and then rate us and leave feedback today. And of course, as always, enjoy all the great action of Ring of Honor Wrestling and everything presented to you on PlaceToBeNation.com.
Place to Be Nation's JT Rosero here, and I want to let you know that we have a ton of great podcasts available to you on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and PlaceToBeNation.com, and we offer them to you across two great feeds. On the Place to Be Nation wrestling feed, you can check out Scott Criscolo and me on the Mothership, the Place to Be podcast with our famous Vintage Vault pay-per-view reviews. PT Man also covers current day wrestling with the smash hit Clotheslines and Headlines. our steady veteran main event, and the beloved monthly pay-per-view reaction shows with immediate feedback on all Pro Wrestling Super Shows. Relive wrestling's past with our monthly pay-per-view rewind series led by Ben Morse, the always contentious Dangerous Alliance podcast, and Survey Says, a fun look back at the good, bad, and ugly of WCW. On our very popular PlayStation Nation Pop podcast feed, we offer such great shows as the Glenn Butler Podcast Hour Spectacular, Rank and File, NBA Team, Lucha Undead, Geek and Sassy, and a veritable podcast heaven for comic fans with hard-traveling fanboys, Sellers Points, Todd Weber's Conversation, and Imaginary Stories. Subscribe to both of those feeds on iTunes and rate and leave feedback for us as well. All of these shows plus others available at PlayStation.com, where we cover pro wrestling, sports, movies, comics, plus tournaments and more. Be sure to support our site by using PlayStation.com/Amazon when doing your online shopping, and download our free Place to Be Vintage Vault Refresh ebooks via the links on the right-hand side of our site. We also want to thank our friends at Bonehead's Wing Bar in West Warwick, Rhode Island, and Fall River, Massachusetts, TheHistoryOfWrestling.com, and Scott Keats' Blog of Doom. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr as well. PlayStation.com, the only place to be in your pop culture world.
The PWO PTBN feed has changed its name. Now it will be known simply as Pro Wrestling Only, so it should be easier to find and indeed to say. All of your favourite shows are still here, including Where the Big Boys Play, Letters from Kayfabe, Titans of Wrestling, Tag Teams Back Again, This Week in Wrestling, and many, many more, including our full archives of tremendous content. So make sure you subscribe to the Pro Wrestling Only feed today.
So I had a thought, Trav, about Lucha City Nights. Off the top, we were talking about the Bulls of Boyle Heights.
Yeah.
Okay, imagine, if you will, like a street gang that their whole thing is that they model themselves after a single member of Lucha Underground. Okay, kind of like in Return of the Dark Knight. There's I'm right on the same page as you. Everybody, it's like mimics or like copycats. Yes,
like,
yes.
Yeah.
Who is your pick? For who do they idolize? Who does this gang?
Ooh, very good. Pentagon Dark.
Oh shit, that is good. I don't know if that fits into a sitcom.
No, you're right.
That's pretty good.
If it's something that's a little more, well, it's not going to be a bunch of Mundos. Maybe no, it wouldn't be the Rabbit guys. I don't know. Can you think of somebody else? Huertes, maybe.
What about oh man, I guess Joey Ryan. Is Joey Ryan a cop, or can there be a gang of Joey Ryans?
I was just thinking a gang full of Bengalas. But
man!
Led by the real Bengala.
Oh my god! This is
Underground for so long.
I love it.
I was going to ask based on it. Did you see any of Cena on Saturday Night Live last night?
No, I haven't.
Well, they have this one. He was good. They're just, their writing is so fucking lazy, and they I don't think they gave him any credit as an actor to challenge the guy for the most part. But there's a bit that's like, it's like the exact aesthetic we're talking about. It's a 2-woman cop show with A.D. Ryan and McKinnon, Kate McKinnon, where it's like they're called it's like Lieutenant Dykowitz and something Fatskowski, so they're called Dyke and Fats.
Nice.
Just like all these things, and it's just like after you see the opening is really funny. There's just a quick thing where what's his name's playing the chief, and he looks exactly like what the chief would look like in our him, and says, "He's like, I really want to thank you to," and he almost says their nicknames, which is Dyke and Fats, but he saw himself as like Lieutenant Dykowitz and Sowski kind of thing. He's like, "Yeah, you guys are a couple of great cops." For a couple of broads. He's like, "You do not get to say that. No, that is no. We are past that. And that's like the whole episode. That's just him.
Jeez.
That is his microaggression or transgression.
Oh God.
Yeah. Look it up. You'll see that's the precise aesthetic I think we're looking for. Even like it kind of like the set of like just the one precinct looks really good.
Cool. I should check that out. I'm looking forward to watching it actually.
Yeah. Okay,
So
Okay.
we're back in we're back in the police station, the actual police station, the Lucha Underground police station, and we've got Vasquez, Captain Vasquez, maybe tonight, and Cortez Castro, aka Officer Reyes.
Yeah. And then she called. Do you remember have you heard Joey Ryan's real name before? She calls him Officer Meehan.
Oh, I was wondering what she was referring. I was going to ask you about that.
Sure that's who it was. I'm pretty sure that's what she was talking about.
Officer Meehan.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. And this is great because this is like kind of what I had pitched a while back, right? About him coming back wearing a Lucha mask. I don't know why he wouldn't have done this to begin with.
I know.
I have to get his arm broken.
One would think that it'll be really easy for them to figure it out. It's him. Just based on like his move set and things like that.
Yeah, well, maybe he'll have to unlearn what he has learned. Definitely, what I would do first things first is drop the cargo shorts.
Maybe don't come out holding a kendo stick.
Exactly, yeah, or at least dress it up. Put a mustache on it.
Nice.
That's not my stick. Anyways, but that's good. I'm excited. That's a change for his character, which was probably needed, right?
Oh yeah.
Yep. It was nice to be reminded that Captain Vasquez is still in the picture.
It's true, and she didn't seem as nefarious in this scene. I feel like the last time we saw her, she came across as a potential sort of high villain type character, but
a little more enigmatic.
Yeah, she seems to be back caring about the law. Yeah.
Yep. So that leads us to our next match with Sexy Star versus PJ Black. So I noticed right away the 4 plants from her title win were in the front row here. So I'm guessing they shot those 4 women cheering.
Yeah.
You saw them in like the first side. So I'm guessing they shot those reactions at this one. I like PJ's demeanor as he entered. And then I had an okay opening sequence. Sexy Star, I'll say this about her: she can definitely hit a hurricane run. Those are textbook. She might rely on it a little too much, but she can do it.
This would be a good time for me to mention PJ Black's tweet. Have you heard about this?
No.
All right. So on December 7th, which was Wednesday, he tweets, I think at The Real Morrison, at Johnny Mundo, would agree with me that Sexy Star is legit the worst wrestler on the planet, period. Then he hashtags it, shoot, #legit.
Oh my god!
I know. Is this just new kayfabe? Is this the evolution of kayfabe?
Maybe, and maybe
you would think that this would be incredibly
frowned upon by the ownership and the rest of the roster. Pete had mentioned to me when I talked with him that Sexy Star and Jack Evans had real life heat.
Oh, really?
Who knows? Who knows? It does appear that she has kind of just maybe a somewhat not entirely unique, different philosophy from your average wrestler, but she does kind of. Do you know what I'm saying? Does this make sense? She's not work rate first as much as some of the other indie girls she's going to see. Do you know what I mean? So that might. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Yeah, I mean they are right. It came out the day of the show, so that
that implies that this is some kind of worked shoot, right? Just the fact that he uses the hashtag shoot. If there was no hashtags, I wouldn't even think for a second it was real. Yeah, it's just so. Yeah. I don't know. It's just so unlike anybody outside of WWE to use Twitter for kayfabe reasons.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it is. It's one to ponder for sure.
So fascinating.
I would say this: Stryker. It really annoys me that Stryker says "Sexy Star doesn't need your help" or all that kind of thing. They just stop saying it. PJ Black blows a kiss at Melissa. So he was doing some good heel work here.
Oh my god, hated.
Yeah, but he still needs a better backstory.
You know what I realized was that this is his first singles match since his debut.
Wow, crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So yeah, there's a wild spot where Sexy Star hits a run off the ropes and PJ rolls it into a Styles clash, which was interesting. And she somehow gets energy after this, though, and Jack Evan enters, drops a bat in the ring.
Yeah.
So Sexy Star rolls him up after a super kick to win. Yeah, it was, I think she works a little better with PJ than she does with Morrison, which is, unfortunate because now we're getting her with Morrison again, or Mundo, pardon me.
In a cage.
Yeah, in a cage. So that way, the cage does give you the freedom to use a little more smoke and mirrors. So maybe we could get something closer to her no mas match there, or no mas, pardon me.
I would love that. I would love the neck. Yeah, that sounds great. And you know what? Morrison fights in a cage a lot. He finds himself in a cage.
Yeah. It works with his parkour.
I was gonna say that. Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So we finally go to this scene that we'd seen in the trailer next. That I was really excited about, the throne room of Cobra Moon.
Yes.
To two men kneel before her. She puts over how badass her tribe is.
Mm-hmm.
Talks about losing the battle because of Drago, I guess. She's talking about Drago, right?
That's my assumption, yeah. Although there's been some chatter online that, she's talking about this third general as if it was Daga, but I don't think that's...
So she tells him to rise, and we see these two serpent guys. They look kind of like... the way the Goombas did in the Super Mario Brothers movie, one of them does.
Yeah, I love those masks, dude. Those guys instantly became. Guess who's gonna win for best non-Drago gear? The Drago award for best non-Drago gear. Well, actually, I couldn't tell you which one because it's gonna be one of those two. That's for sure. At this point.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that one guy's snake mask is so good.
I know, it looked slimy, and slithery.
Looked awesome.
But speaking of Drago, did you see he posted some sort of 2-minute challenge to Cobra Moon on the internet through Lucha's I guess Facebook page or Twitter or whatever? Did you see it? It's all in Spanish. You didn't see this?
No.
Okay. Well, I recommend looking it up, my friend, because there is a glimpse of looks like gold to me. There's gold in them there Drago gears.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Huh.
Yep.
Well, I'll believe it when I see it. I'm looking at his Twitter right now. He is not very active, so wherever it may be, I don't know.
Just check it out.
Okay.
All right. I thought this Cobra Moon performance was great. Maybe her best performance.
There was
the most they've given her in terms of a soliloquy of sorts.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, I think she went. There were so many cuts during this. It's a little weird, but in my mind, yeah, she sometimes she recited a line and she was Cobra Moon, and then sometimes she recited a line and she was fucking Robert De Niro. It was so good. Especially her final line was so good. I was like, whoa, yeah, I was
taking a swig from her goblet.
Yeah, I was really impressed. Really impressed.
Badass. Any guesses on the names of these lizard people?
Well, I think one is Pindar, isn't it? She says them both.
She did mention Pindar earlier. I thought it was going to be like Eric Salamanderson.
Okay.
Next, Dario Cueto and Matanza at the cage. Dario's more frantic here. You can tell he wants that belt back more than Matanza does for whatever reason. He must get some sort of power and more control when that happens. He definitely doesn't want it in Mundo's hands. God knows those two don't get along.
Mm-hmm.
Matanza tells him he wants Ray. Dario Cueto reminds him of Dragon Azeteca Jr. in an upcoming match. Matanza grabs Dario Cueto's head and smashes it into the bars. For a second there, did you think, whoa, did he just kill Dario Cueto?
I don't think. No, I did not. But the I was shocked.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good too. I love the last image of him just kind of reaching for the key. That was good visual storytelling. Band kills it some more when we get back, as always. In the next match, Marty the Moth versus Dragon Azeteca Jr. versus the Mac versus Mel Muertes, another Battle of the Bulls tournament. I should mention Melissa's dress looked really nice. There was an umbilical cord bit from Vampiro. Do you remember hearing this?
Yes.
Ugh. I don't know what the fuck that was.
I like that, actually. I thought it was
Did
good.
you?
Yeah, oh, yeah. I mean, I thought it was it was educational.
B, well, yes.
B, it was like it matched the, that sort of dark, violent vibe that the show was trying to put out there. I thought it was good.
Of course, I think of the. Yeah, that's what I think of when I think of violence. It's umbilical cord.
Well, that's why I love it. It's creepy, man. It's dark. It's creepy.
It is creepy. Yeah, okay. Do that. Everyone goes after Mel Muertes to start, which makes sense. Awesome.
Did you notice too that they mentioned that Dragon Azeteca Jr. is part of the Eagle tribe?
Ooh, no, I did not.
Yes, they mentioned that. So that means, like, I had always assumed, like, okay, Dragon Azeteca Jr., he must be part of the same tribe as Cobra Moon. But I think with all the Cobra Moon stuff that's going on, they probably wanted to address that sort of ambiguity.
Good. Yeah, I see what you're saying. An awesome Tijuana DDT from Dragon Azeteca Jr., only to get Reaper's Trident from Mil Muertes after landing it. Mil Muertes and Marty square off again. So remember, we kind of saw whispers of this at Aztec Warfare. I think what they're doing right now, and I think I kind of said it back then, is they're trying to see if Marty can kind of be one of these bigger kind of hoss fighter kind of guys if they need to, maybe sometime later down the
like have him go. Oh well, I mean, don't you think that they're prepping him for a one-on-one versus Matanza when they start exploring the Matanza Mariposa romance angle?
If it comes to that, it's a good point. They should at least have it in their possible storylines, part of the bulletin board in the writer's office.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I hope so.
Yeah. Who is Dragon Azeteca Jr.? Do we know who that wrestler is?
Yeah, he goes by the name Horace. But that's pretty much all I know.
You don't know how long he's been at it? Because this guy must have tons of footage of him being a regular or a non-Lucha Underground performer somewhere. Because he just looks, doesn't look green, that's for sure. I mean, you know what I'm saying.
He's the most green, actually, Travis.
Most green of the bunch. He hits a flip to the outside. Mil Muertes spears Marty to the outside, hitting, who is it? The Mac and Dragon Azeteca. Mac stunner off on Mil Muertes, an exchange of offense similar to an earlier match. Nice 450 from Dragon Azeteca on Mil Muertes. But he doesn't know. Remember, he didn't cover here, and they kind of take point of this or take notice of this.
Yes. Yeah, I love that, actually.
Then this could be something good for his character. Because I did see the write-up for next week, and it talks about him and Ray having a conversation. So maybe this is kind of like, what are you doing, man? You had a chance to. Are you forgetting what I taught you? I don't know. I'm just prognosticating here. And then Matanza enters, power bombs Dragon Azeteca onto Mil Muertes. Some stiff boots. Wild counter for Matanza on Dragon Azeteca into the Wrath of the Gods. Dario Cueto enters with a bloody towel over his face, and he's able to use the key to get Matanza to return backstage with him. Gets down to the Mac and Marty, and Mac hits a running stunner for the win. I thought this was a little too much like the previous match, but it wasn't as. Not everybody got to shine as much as they did in the first match. I didn't drop snowflakes on this one.
Yeah. There was certainly something lacking. I think it probably had something to do with the fact that the crux of it was going to be this Matanza run-in that was going to affect the outcome, right?
Yeah.
Ultimately, I mean, probably the weakest competitor won in terms of if you were to rank everybody.
As much as we like them, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I would love for nothing more than to see the Mac kind of get, have his profile raised within the temple for sure.
Yeah.
I just don't know if that's what the plan is here. It kind of felt like this was setting up something more for, this was more important to the Matanza storyline than it was to the Max storyline. So
I agree. I think he's just, he seems destined to be an also-ran in the, if he moves on to the finals here. I guess it probably just is another, there'd probably be, I assume there'd be 2 more Battle of the Bulls matches that leads to those 4 just kind of battling it out.
Yeah. I mean,
that's my guess.
Yeah, well, what's weird is that we had the Mac and Cage have wrestled at Ultima Lucha 2 years in a row.
Yes.
And now we're in a situation again where we got the Mac and Cage are going to be in the finals of this thing.
Yes.
I just hope this doesn't end. I hope this doesn't act as a springboard for another Mac and Cage
storyline. No, that'd be unfortunate. Like I really do. Yeah, like I said, I'm starting to think more and more that Cage is going to be the god, the base god.
Yeah, that makes some sense.
Yeah,
let me tell you a little bit what I got about Dragon Azeteca Jr. here.
Okay.
It has not been wrestling for very long, only since 2009. And he's looking at 1 match a year, 2 matches a year, this type of stuff until pretty much 2015 is when he really started ripping it up. He's had a couple of matches with Evolve Wrestling, and prior to that, it's just really looking like flip-flopping between American Indies and Mexican Indies. He's wrestled in 2016. He only had 5 matches in AAA, and that's it. This guy's a really interesting sort of. I don't know what his deal is. The guy obviously has amazing talent. I'm surprised that he's so underutilized. Especially,
I guess maybe part of it is that it's funny that we're saying he's only been at it for 6 years. Like that's how long.
Yeah, and even if you look at the matches he's done, I mean, 2000. He's just not wrestling very often. Yeah. So it's a little strange. Strange.
Yeah, but I thought this was better than average episode.
Yeah. I don't know.
It wasn't a blow-away by any.
Well, we were definitely going to have a come-down moment after last. After last month, so.
Yeah.
Or after last week's.
Yeah.
Okay, let me tell you what we got coming up next week. We have got In Las Sombras, the continuation of the Battle of the Bulls tournament. Dragon Azeteca Jr. visits Rey Mysterio, and Sexy Star is the target of mind games. Who knows what that's going to be about?
Yeah, we shall see.
Seems like it's going to be another solo one. That would be my guess.
Yeah, I would imagine. Well, we should hope for, if we're probably going to get, like I said, 2 more Battle of the Bulls matches, hope for that they're more like the first one of this episode rather than the last one. Not that the last one was awful, just the first one was like, that was a really good match.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally.
Yeah, so we'll see. Heard your most recent Splutchcast.
Oh yeah,
that sounded really good. That longer form documentary you watched.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably the one I would point to anybody who is like an absolute, like the most harsh line critic of Bigfoot existence. That's probably the one I would point them at because it's just the most scientific.
That's what I was.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. What's going on with you and the Titans?
This Tuesday, we're hoping to record the second part of our 80s, or look at the 80s footage in this feud that I can really remember from my childhood. Wraps up. So far, it is. I was worried about it kind of not living up to, your, which as it usually is when you go back and watch something you loved as a kid.
Totally.
It's just like, oh, God, I can't believe how much I love this. But so far watching it, it has exceeded expectations. So.
Hey, check your Skype, your Messenger. I just sent you.
I see it.
I sent you a picture from.
Are those dragon eggs?
I don't know. That's from Drago's Twitter. Can you describe it for the people who can't see it?
It looks like a little. It's almost like a Drago bobblehead or like a little idol type thing, and someone is holding. Like it looks like he's got some incense, or might be a bong too. It does look like it's something that you offer up. You might see at the back of a restaurant that honors like some sort of god, and you might see. But in this case, it looks like for some reason someone's offering this idol 5 eggs.
Yes, 5 white eggs in front of a Drago idol. Yeah. That's the perfect way to describe it. I don't know. Who knows?
And it looks to me like we've got that looks like a burnt sienna on the bottom there. So you might want to adjust your tally
for the gear.
Yeah,
maybe.
Okay. All right.
Other than that, I guess that's it for us. We'll be here next week.
The question is, will you join us?